against Demetrius.
Yeah.
Demetrius tapping some mana here. Looks like we're seeing probably some equipping here going on as we see Skyrim versus Jensen.
All right, so let's go. Here it comes. William Jensen leads off with a mountain, and so does Frank Scarron.
Yep.
Frank's to the left of your screen. William Jensen is to the right of your screen. Is it Guildgate? And William Jensen will just pass the turn. Let's see if Frank has a turn 2 play or not. I'm thinking probably not. No real actions usually starts until about turn 3.
Yeah, this format, as we've said many times during this, was pretty much just slowed down.
Oh, definitely.
It's just slowed down so much. You see a forest there from Jensen. He just passed the turn back after Scarron does play with Gruul Guildgate, and he passes it back.
All right. So Frank Scarron plays a forest. He's tapping 3 lands, and there's a clue stone. So you guys at home, you guys can follow along. You guys can see which play you would make. See what happens here. Maybe make some predictions. All right. So William Jensen just plays a not so much a grizzly bear, because if you have access to the 6 mana, this guy's getting pretty big. It's turning into a 5/5.
And he's got the Kroll Warrior.
Yep, that's exactly it.
So Scarron's going to play a mountain. He's going to tap his Boros, Keymoon, a forest, and a mountain. He's going to play a Centaur Healer. Gain 3 life.
Yeah, solid card. 3/3, gains 3 life. You know, bigger than most of the small creatures in the format.
Yeah. Jensen going to draw a card. See if he's going to make any attacks here. You know, he is green and red, so he can represent Blood Rush now, along with the bevy of pump spells that are available in green.
Yep. All right. So there's an island. William Jensen is tapping 5 mana. Oh wow!
So here's Species
Your favorite
Scorcher.
card.
I'm a pretty big fan of this card. 5 mana, 6/6. Makes you bounce a creature back to your hand every turn. It can be itself, of course.
Yeah.
But you can pick up the Cruel Warrior and start really doing some ridiculous things. But now, Burn is going to kill that, and now Species Scorcher is going to have to pick itself up.
Yeah. So really a good tempo swing for Scarron. Jensen will fall slightly behind here. We'll see if Scarron can capitalize on this.
So he's going to play Keystone. He's going to follow that up with
Hell Giant?
Yeah.
Why not? Hell Giant with Blood Rush?
You've got the Rubble Belt Maka, and he passes the turn back. So Species Scorcher goes back to Jensen's hand now. So Scarron, ahead on the board, wasn't able to attack with the Centaur Healer because of the Gorger. So Gorger can kind of play a makeshift wall right now.
Okay, that's a good way to look at it.
Well, six mana here from Jensen. What's he got?
Oh,
all right, so here's the Maze Glider.
3/5 flyer. All your multicolored creatures will gain flying. So right now it's just going to play defense.
Yep.
And it does a fine job as a 3/5 flyer.
Yeah.
Let's see what Scarron wants to do here. Taking a look at Scarron's hand. He's got a couple of options for sure. And he does have access to 7 mana. So both these players, you know, normally on the fast side, they make the decision and they go with it. Let's see what Scarron wants to do.
So here's the Frenzied Tilling.
Frenzied Tilling. What do you think is going to target? Is it Guildgate? Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
it's
exactly
got
it. And Frank's going to search up a Plains.
Okay.
So Frank has access to all the mana, all the colors that he really needs.
Frank shuffles deck, presents it over to Jensen.
Jensen gives it a shuffle.
Yep.
Let's see if Frank has anything else to do this turn, or just probably pass the turn. Probably just pass here, right?
I mean, attacking isn't very good right now. I mean, unless he has a Blood Rush card in his hand or a pump spell, but for some reason it just doesn't feel like he has either of those things, so he's just going to pass it back.
If he had anything, he would have done it before the Frenzy Tilling.
Yeah.
All right, so William Jensen's thinking, what can I do? It looks like he has lots of options as well. I see a Syncopate in his hand. Syncopate is a pretty nice one.
Yeah, I mean, the Syncopate, you know, typically a lot better in the early game. Can catch a large spell like a Gruul Rage Beast or something like that, depending on what Frank's hand is right now. But I mean, I would be surprised if it has a huge impact on this particular game.
Yeah, especially once Frank, you know, did make a Frenzy Tilling.
Yeah.
So he was allowed to, you know, ramp his mana while eliminating a mana source of William Jensen's. So we'll see what William wants to do here.
You also wonder how backbreaking that Frenzy Tilling is too.
Yeah, I mean, this game I don't think it's going to be that relevant, But I can see a game where Frank Scanlon goes Clue Stone or Key Rune right into a Frenzy Tilling.
Yep.
Why not, right?
So here's a Splatter Thug.
All right.
See if that's going to get unleashed. It does not look like it. Going to follow that up with a Celestia Guildgate and just pass the turn back. So Scaren's going to draw a card.
Yeah, no unleash there. Do you think he would have unleashed it, or do you like Williams'
Looks
line
like
here?
he's more interested in blocking right now. It looks like he feels like he's on the back foot a little bit here.
Okay. Maybe he thinks if the game goes long, he's going to win.
Yeah.
So
here's a bunch, man. Oh. Is this Syncopate actually going to be good? Oh my god.
that is 1, 2, 3,
Oh
4,
my
5, 6, 7, 8,
goodness.
9.
Catch
and
release.
release.
Oh my god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is. I think this is going to get syncopated.
Yeah, it was definitely going to get syncopated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Williams probably saying, just name your target.
Yeah, oh my god. Syncopate's going to
syncopated.
exile that and pass the turn back.
And Frank probably thought he was going to be in great shape.
Yeah, I mean, hard not to.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, there it is, syncopate.
Wow.
You gotta love syncopate.
So now in comes the Maze Glider for 3 in the air.
What else does William Jetson have?
I know he has a Species Gorger in reserve. Just does he want to cast that, or does he want to further this board along more? All right, he's reaching here for 5 mana. Yep, and there is your Species Gorger. So the 6/6 is back now.
Yep.
And Jensen plays a land and passes the turn.
Now it looks like Frank's behind. He's facing down some big creatures, and what does he have? He just has a couple of 3/3s. Sure, he has lots of lands, but he's going to have to start sacrificing those clue stones to try to get something that he needs for him to progress his game. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. This is why you play him, right? You play him because you want to ramp your mana, but late game you play him because you want to cash him in for a new card.
Yep.
All right, so he's sacrificing the first one. Frank will draw. It looks like he just drew a forest. Not really what he wants. Do you think he'll sacrifice the other one?
The other one is the other one up there is a Boros Key Rune.
Sure.
So
I mean, do you think he's gonna sack it?
I don't think he's gonna.
Oh, it's a Boros Key Rune.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, it looks like a clue stone from here.
So Explosive Impact is going to take care of the Maze Glider.
Sure. And Frank cannot make any good attacks here.
Nope.
Splatter Thug will be returned to Jensen's hand.
Species Gorger at the ready to attack here. Scaran can trade both of his guys for the Species Gorger.
I kind of like the attack here. What do you think? If you're Jensen, do you want to attack or no?
Yeah, I think I want to attack and offer up the 2-for-1.
Yeah.
And does he believe that I don't have a trick either? I think overall the stack is pretty good. And Scaran says, yeah, I can't really try to block here. I'll take 6. I'll go to 14. Jensen's going to move to a second main phase here. We'll see what creatures he does play. He does have a Krakenor in his hand to go along with a Splatter Thug, excuse me, as we do have an update here. Joe Demestro up 1-0 versus Reed Duke. So there is a Krakenora. Follow that up with a Splatter Thug.
Do you think you unleash it now?
Looks like he's going to.
All right, he does.
So Evolve plus Unleash. Dice go on those guys, and Jensen's going to pass the turn back. So Scaran's going to untap. He's going to draw, staring down a 2/4 Krakenora and a 3/3 Unleashed Splatter Thug. So that thing cannot block.
Okay. So Frank Scaran still just with a couple of ground guys, and he's attacking with both his guys here.
I mean, it's just a way. It's just a way to push through 3 points of damage. I mean, Splatter Thug can't block.
I mean, but I guess Frank has no interest of trying to block here.
Yeah.
There's a Swift Justice. Okay. Looks like Jensen gave the thumbs up there.
Yep. Swift Justice is going to make the Rebel Belt Naka a 4/3 with first strike and lifelink. Going to gain a little life back. Going to follow that up with a Night Watch. As we do have another update here. Alec Nesson is up 1-0 over Owen Turtenwald. So Nesson, Scaran, and Demestro currently up right now. Scaran having a little bit of trouble this game, I think, but he is trying to come back.
Yeah. I think Jensen's in pretty good shape. I would rather be on Jensen's side of the board right now than Scaran's. But the game will continue, and there'll probably be a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, does Jensen attack, or does he just leave it back? I think he just wants to leave it back. Attacking is probably not the worst thing in the world.
I mean, it depends on the contents of his hand. Of course, we know there's a Splatter Thug there that he cannot unleash, but then Splatter Thug, if he attacks the Species Gorger, plays Splatter Thug, doesn't unleash it, then, the Splatter Thug does not line up well against the Centaur Healer or the Rubber Belt Maka. So I think that Species Gorger might want to play a little bit of defense this go around.
Okay, that's fair.
You see Jensen's hand right now. I think we see a Cluestone over there, along with that Splatter Thug, and I think a land, but he is reaching for mana right now. So 3 mana. There's a Boros Cluestone in his hand. There's the Boros Cluestone.
Okay.
Time to draw a card.
We'll draw.
It's a forest. He plays a mountain. He plays a Splatter Thug. Last card in his hand is a forest. No unleash and just pass the turn back. So Scarron is slowly but surely coming back here. As Jensen's kind of flooding out a little bit.
Ooh, what was that? That looked like a spell. Let's see. Okay.
Current Striker. Okay.
Yeah, better than nothing.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good draw right now.
Yeah.
Battalion on that card is very realistic, making so Species Gorger can't block and get a lot of damage through. Jensen draws a card. Looked like maybe that was an Azorius Charm potentially.
It was something.
Yeah, didn't get a great look at it. As you see, Jensen does have an island and a Silesian Guildgate in play, so he does have access to the mana for Azorius Charm, if that's what it was. We've also additionally, Gerard, seen a blue spell from Huey in Syncopate and Species Gorger. So.
Yeah. So I'm not surprised to see Huey being playing this deck.
Yeah.
His type of deck, his type of style of deck, and we'll see if he could defeat Frank Scarron in this match or not. So a lot of thinking going on. Scarron has 2, 5, 8, 10, 12. He has 12 power on the table. All right. Jensen still has 17 life, so Frank's not there yet, but he's trying to work his way there. I guess he also has that key rune, so that's 14 damage.
Yeah.
If you're counting that.
Let's see what Scarron draws for the turn.
Yeah, hopefully a spell. That's what he's hoping for.
Yeah. You see him reaching for the mana there. It looks like he might be reaching there for the key rune, but now he's going to be coming in with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all the creatures are going to attack. Current Striker's Battalion ability is going to go on. He's going to target the Species Gorger. Here he says, all right, put Splatter Thug in front of your Current Striker. My guy has First Strike. Resolve that First Strike damage. Regular damage, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Followed up with a Horn-Caller's Chant.
Yeah, I was wondering why did he not attack with that Boros key rune, and that's exactly why.
So now 2 4/4 Rhinos are going to come into play. This card, an 8-mana spell that was too slow for Return to Ravnica ×3, might see a little bit more play now.
Definitely. And that's definitely a powerful card for Frank, and if Jensen doesn't have anything, he's in trouble and he's going to be facing down lethal damage next turn.
So Rhino tokens are coming in. There's those 4/4s.
So we're about to find out within the next minute or so, does William Jensen have another blocker? Does he have a trick? Does he have something that will allow him to survive? Or is Frank Scarron going to, win the first game like both his teammates did?
Yeah.
We'll see.
There's your 4/4s there for representation. Gonna fire up the Boros key rune.
Yeah, I think Frank just wants to get in with everything.
I think it's everybody time. Yep, so here he comes.
And let's see if William has anything or not.
Yeah, let's see. How does this backfire? It doesn't. And Mr. Scarron is up a game as well. So 1-1-1 for Nezin, Scarron, and Demestrio.
Maybe it could be Hawaii 5-0 the other way.
Potential to be that.
Yeah. It's still a possibility.
Yeah.
It's still in the range of possibilities. All right, so you're probably not going to see too much sideboarding. I was kind of surprised that Frank didn't want that. That's
presence in his main.
Yeah, that's presence in the main.
Yeah.
I do really like it. It seems like it'd be good against a couple of these decks.
We're going to cut in the Turtonwall Nezin match here. Turtonwall going to be untapping. Let's bring you into the game state here. You see a Vassal Soul with an Agoraphobia on it, an Azorius Arrestor, and a Prophetic Prism in play for Owen with all planes. So that Prophetic Prism is working overtime. On Nezin's side, again, he is up a game. You see a Seller of Songbirds, you see a Bird Token, and you see that new blue card from
05 Defender.
That is the 05 Defender.
Doesn't really do too much, but some people like it.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen in the Murmuring Phantasm, I mean, he is Nezin, very happy to play defensive decks. We saw a deck earlier for him in his Steel deck where he had Hoverberry, he had Clinging Anomalies as well, so he likes to play a defensive deck. As Turtonwall comes out here with a mountain, has his Warmind Infantry get canceled, but does have the Viashino Stalker here that's going to be coming across.
Yeah, so Turnwall was about to attack, and then he wants to think twice about it. I think I see a Madcap skills in his hand. Well, I could be mistaken. It's late, and Owen shuffling his cards pretty quick on Turnwall.
Yeah, you're taking a look at there. He's going to play a Precinct Captain right now.
Okay, that's definitely fair.
Yeah, he's going to pass the turn back.
Do you see that right card in Owen's hand?
Yeah.
What is it? Do you know?
Yeah, it's Punish the Enemy.
Oh, it's Punish the Enemy?
Yeah.
Okay, Punish the Enemy, 3 damage target player, 3 damage target creature for 5 mana as an instant speed.
And it's going to be a little bit better now because, you know, Nezin is going to play Knightly Valor on his bird token from Settle the Songbirds. Probably get in the air a little bit here. Potentially. I mean, the problem here is if he attacks, the Vassal Soul blocks, Nezin loses his Agoraphobia, so it may not be the best attack right now.
Okay.
But, you know, he does get the 2/2 Soldier token, or excuse me, 2/2 Knight token that does have Vigilance from the Knightly Valor. So he's starting to gum up the board a little bit here, but Turtenwald is threatening to kind of break through, and you do see the attack here. With the bird token, Vassal Soul's going to block. Agoraflipper's going to go to the graveyard as Turtenwald's going to draw a card, and it is a True Fire Paladin to go along with 2 copies of Serve and Protect. Okay. Protect and Serve, excuse me. And now Turtenwald's going to turn these guys sideways.
Yeah, he's going to come in. Doesn't it have good blocks here or no?
I mean, the L5 on the Precinct Captain is a pretty simple block. There's your Knight going to get in front of the Viashino. Stellar Songbird's going to get in front of the Azorius Arrestor.
Sure. So we'll see how this game progresses here. What do you think about the Precinct Captain? Big fan of it or no?
No, I don't like it very much at all. The guys that it make are mostly relevant.
Okay.
A 2/2, you know, with First Strike is fairly relevant as well. It takes a lot of work to get through. It's the same reason I don't like Stealer's Secrets, which is basically a 3-mana version of this card. You're doing a lot of work to be able to get said card through. Because now you're going to see Turtenwald cast Protect and Serve here, fuse that, give his Viashino +2/+2, give the Stellar Songbirds -6/-0, and now Nezin is going to come in for 3 in the air, it looks like here, with the bird token. He plays a 6 land, which is a swamp, and let's see if he has a follow-up, and he does in the form of Ubis Protector, so he's going to get that 6-mana 1/1 and the token that does come along with it.
Yeah, and that card is just awesome, you know? Because you would just play 6-mana 4/4 flyer, and now you kind of get a free roll. You could have some nice combos with something like Dramatic Rescue, Simic Charm, what have you.
Yeah,
Keymaster Rogue.
A lot of ways to make that card better, especially with all the sets being available. It was a kind of a role player in Gate Crash limited, but it's probably only gotten better moving forward. Again, we talked about it ad nauseum this weekend, format getting a bit slower, but Turtenwald's going to speed it up because here comes the Viashino, here comes the Arrestor and the Precinct Captain again. Let's see how Nezin wants to block this turn, because he's just seen 1 Protect and Serve, and he's probably thinking to himself, does Turtenwald have another one of those?
And the answer is yes, he does. Yeah. But I mean, Nezin doesn't know this for sure.
So Arrestor's going to try. The Arrestor's going to block there. Viashino's going to get 2 points of damage through. Precinct Captain is going to bounce off the glider. Here is a Punish the Enemy. There goes your bird token with Knightly Valor. Nezin's going to take 3 from that as well. So he's going to come across for 4.
All right, why not? I mean, both players had a high life total, right? There's been a lot of attacking going on, but there's also been a lot of blocking.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of exchanges in combat here, as Turtenwald's going to draw a card. Again, he does have the True Fire Paladin, he does have the Protect and Serve, and he is moving in again. And now here's a Skyline Predator. 3/4 Flash is going to jump in here. Let's see how effective this can be.
That's a card probably a lot of people forgot about.
Yeah.
You know, uncommon from Return to Ravnica. Haven't really played Return to Ravnica in a while.
Yep.
So, definitely an interesting card.
So now here's the Protect and Serve, +2/+4, going to take care of the Skyline Predator. Turtenwald in his second main phase, going to play True Fire Paladin and pass the turn back. So Turtenwald's tricks are actually working pretty well. It makes you wonder if Nezin's going to slow down with that 4/4 Angel, if he's just going to keep on bashing in and hope that his blocks without that 4/4 Angel are going to be good, because the past couple turns they have not been.
Yeah, it's kind of close. I can see him attacking. I don't think it would be like that. Overall, it's just close. Not much more to say about it than that.
So here's a Clue Stone here from Nezin.
Okay. Do you think it's more important to cycle or to build up his mana, Cedric?
I mean, depending on the cards in his hand right now, you know, you don't get a good look in Nezin's hand. He's shuffling those cards very quickly here, but cycling on the main phase doesn't make much sense. Leaves you with the blue mana open. Yes, maybe you can hit a land drop, but you rather cycle on the end step. Represent a couple different things here. 4 mana with blue, white, and red represents a lot of different things. Gives Turtenwald some things to think about here.
Yeah. So that True Fire Paladin is dangerous. Although Owen only has one mountain, he has the prison.
Yep. So you can get some activations off of this. And now the Angel's going to jump in the way. And now if you're Turtenwald, you're a little bit scared, right? Because you're almost certain that Nesson does see the opportunity here. So he's going to give it +2/+0. He's going to pass priority. Here's an Oros. Here's, excuse me, an Orzhov charm.
Okay, so Nesson's going to lose 2 life, I believe?
Yep. In response to the pump, he does take care of the True Fire Paladin. Turtenwald follows that up there with a Zada Snare Squad, and passes the turn back. That card is a mouthful to say. This one, except for Skywatch, is not difficult to pronounce. He's going to stop that. He's going to come across for 4 in the air, and you can see Nesson really prefers to play these control-style decks in draft. His Steel deck was very much like this deck that we saw.
Yeah, I agree. Now, do you think anybody has a distinct advantage, or is it just way too early? Life totals are way too close.
I think this game is certainly in Nesson's favor right now.
Okay.
Turtenwald has burned most of his tricks. He's going to come in again here. Of course, the Snare Squad's not going to be able to get in because it has been detained. You see Nesson's more than happy just to block the Precinct Captain, take 2, move to 13, use his life total as a resource. As you see in Turtenwald's hand, he does have the Blind Obedience. He also has the Phantom General. He's empty-handed. He's going to pass the turn back. And if you're Nesson, now you can come to a decision about what to do because all of Turtenwald's cards are on the table.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I spoke with Frank and his team, and I said, hey, that Blind Obedience went really late. And they're like, yeah, we don't think it's good. I mean, I think it's good. Turtenwald certainly thinks it's good because it's in his deck, and it's in play right now for him.
You see Kingpin's Pet's going to come into play tap. Pilfered Plans. It's going to mill Turtenwald 2 cards there. It's going to draw Nesson another card. He's going to come across for, looks to be potentially 7 in the air. You know, how aggressive does he want to be here? Because an attack for 7, you see Pilfered Plans on there on the screen. A Divination that's going to be able to mill either player. It does target a player here. He's going to come across for 7. Looks like Turtenwald's going to go down to 1. So he's going to untap his permanents here. Again, Nesson at a pretty healthy 12 life with 1 blocker. Is there anything Turtenwald can do to get himself out of this situation as long as our life totals are correct?
Yeah, always got to think about it. He does have some guys down. The problem is that Nesson has a army of flyers.
Yep.
That's the real problem.
Life total is correct. It was 12-1. Turtenwald drew a land, concedes the game, so Alec Nesson is going to win this match. His team up 1-0 in this best of 9. As you see, Jensen versus Skaren. Jensen has tied it up, so it's 1-1 there. So it looks like we may cut to the Mestrio Duke match.
Sure, that can make some sense. It looks like the Mestrio is up a game. All right, versus Reed Duke. Looks like Reed Duke was kind of confirming the life totals there. As you can see from our camera angle, he suggested, you know, hey, this is my life, this is your life, just confirming, something you should always do. All right, so as you can see, ooh, wow, Angelic Skirmisher.
Yeah, so we cut into a pretty complicated board state here. We'll look at Duke's first. He has a Centaur token. You also see a Slime token with 2 counters on it, probably from a, may have been from a Slime Molly, not entirely sure. You also see a Rebel Belt Rhino and a Desecration Demon with 2 counters on it as well. Look at Demestrio's side. You see a Blood Scrivener, you see a Zerachi Tiger, you see an Angelic Skirmisher with a Riot Gear on it. You also see an Ogre Jailbreaker with 2 guild gates in play, so that thing's going to be able to attack. And now you see Duke coming across here with that Slime token, so we'll see if Demestrio wants to take the opportunity to block here.
Do you think Demestrio should block? Well, I mean, he is at 21 life here.
Yeah.
You know? So, do we know what he named with Angelic Skirmisher?
Yeah, that's the question, and we're going to have to keep that updated every time Skirmisher does have the opportunity to be used, because it's this multiple ability that gets named on each combat here.
Yeah. I feel like most of the time when you're on defense, you just want to name First Strike.
Yeah.
That makes the most sense. And when you're on offense, it's either Vigilance, depending, or Lifelink.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Demestrio is at 21 life. Does he care about getting some more life? It's nice, too. It's not the best thing in the world, though. So, you see Demestrio. He's mostly a Orzhov deck, doing a little splashing. And we'll see how this game plays out. So the Ivy League Denizen, will be able to put counters on pretty much anything Reed wants to put counters on.
Yep. So
Reed Duke on the right side of the screen, he does have a Desecration Demon. That was his first pick out of the Return to Ravnica booster pack, and it's a really powerful card.
Yeah. Angelic Skirmisher is trying to stand tall right now, and you see Demestrio kind of, waving his hands in there, trying to figure out what am I supposed to do this turn, because it's certainly a difficult turn. As you see, Zerachi Tiger is going to come back into play here, a second copy. He has 2 copies in his main deck here. So after he taps his mana, we'll figure out what the Angelic Skirmisher activation is going to be on here for combat, if he's even going to attack at all.
Sure, so...
Yep, so what he's going to do here is he's going to sacrifice the Zerachi Tiger. Desecration Demon can't block. Here comes the Skirmisher yet again. He names Lifelink here. And now, so what you see here is an 8/8 Desecration Demon, and we'll figure out what those slime tokens are. I think it's 8 counters on there?
8/8 with 2+1/+1 counters.
Okay, so it's an 8/8 with 2+1/+1 counters.
Okay.
So it's just a 10/10, no big.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Alright, Duke draws for his turn. Duke down to just 6 life. He's going to have to find an answer to Angelic Skirmisher, am I right?
Yeah. I mean, the way that things look right now, you know, you see Dymestrio moving his riot gear around. Now it's over on that Ogre Jailbreaker. Reed doesn't have very many good attacks. As you see Skirmisher on the screen, gaining Dymestrio life. Going to give first strike on the back end of combat again because it is each combat. But the thing that's important here is that Duke only has 1 flyer in play. That's the Desecration Demon, and Dymestrio can control that card.
Okay. Yeah, definitely is just such a powerful card, really. You know, 6 mana, 4/4 flyer. It's so much the fact that the ability is just so great.
Yeah.
It really is. All right, so Reed Duke down a game. Now, each player will actually finish their match. So even if Dymestrio were to win, it just wouldn't be 2-3 and Scarron and Jensen wouldn't finish.
Yep.
They would finish right now.
Yep.
So we could always come back to that match when we need to. But for now, we're going to stay with the Joe Dymestrio Reed Duke match here in the finals of SCG Open in Somerset, New Jersey.
So in comes the Desecration Demon, because it is going to get sacrificed. Something's going to get sacrificed anyway, so Reed's thinking I might as well get my damage in while I can. Also, that Giant Ooze comes in here now as well. Now you're going to see a Morgue Burst take out the Angelic Skirmisher, bring back the Zartu Swine, and if Dymestrio doesn't move that equipment over, maybe that never happens, but as a result, the Skirmisher goes down. The Swine comes back to Reed's hand, a fantastic Morgue Burst there, and now Blood Scrivener is going to allow Dymestrio to draw 2 cards with no cards in his hand. So here's 1, here's 2. He does lose a life, excuse me, to do that. So let's see if these 2 cards are helpful, because it looked like he was riding that Angelic Skirmisher to victory, and he can no longer do that.
Yeah, it's definitely Joe's most powerful card in his deck.
Yeah.
You know, after looking at his deck, I do really like Underworld Connections, but it doesn't really have the same power level of it as Angelic Skirmisher. Alright, so there's a 2/3 flyer for Joe.
Yep, there's your Rakdos Strike. He's going to unleash that. But, I mean, Joe is in just a much worse situation than he was when we cut into this game. When we cut into this game, you saw Angelic Skirmisher taking over the game on its own.
Okay.
You know, he was doing a lot of work to be able to push that through, but instead now that died to the Morgue Burst. Reed has the Swine in his hand with the Blood Rush at the ready. Potentially could also just cast it, move an Ivy Lane Denizen counter onto something. But it's going to be a very, very tough game for Dymestrio to win now, because now he actually has to consider containing that Desecration Demon on defense. He was containing it on offense and using it against Reed. Now he has to stop it from attacking him.
Yeah, definitely. As you can see, a good shot of the board right now. I think he's just going to have to sacrifice. Duke's just say, you know, declare my attack step. I think Dymestrio just has to tap it down. Is Dymestrio's plan trying to swing into... I don't know where Dymestrio stands here.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no way for him to really get through this board. So he's going to sacrifice, you know, the Selesnya Elephant there to tap, the Desecration Demon. But, you know, how much does that accomplish here? Because, you know, if you're tapping those guys, you're going to run out eventually. And by the way, Reed has plenty of other guys to attack with, as you see him turn all of those guys sideways. So as useful as that card may have been, tapping down the Desecration Demon with the Selesnya Sentry, again, Reed has the Swine in his hand with Blood Rush at the ready.
Sure.
So what kind of good blocks does Joe have? Because again, Joe has no cards in his hand.
Yeah, and why did Joe just unleash his guy? What was the purpose?
Yeah, that's the big question to me.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, so there's a Swine and there's lethal attack. So, you know, Dymestrio, maybe the unleashing was a pretty bad idea. Maybe, you know, he's hoping that Reed makes a mistake with an attack, and maybe that Dymestrio felt that gives him the best chance to win.
Okay.
But not a victory for Joe there. So they're going to be going to a third game, as we're likely going to cut over to the Scarron versus Jensen match now. Get our life totals updated. You guys can probably take a look at these guys sideboard briefly before we do cut over.
Yeah, so he had the Rakdos Drake. He He wanted to unleash it and make it a 2-3, but either way, it wouldn't have mattered. So we'll. Ooh, okay. So we have Frank Scarron and William Jensen here.
So we cut into this match. Let's analyze the board states here. You see on Jensen's side, he's tapped 5 mana. It looks like probably for a Species Gorger. You're also going to see a Splatter Thug that's tapped that does have Unleashed. Both players hands back and forth a little bit here as there's a Homing Lightning, it looks like, on the stack. Figuring out what that's targeting. It looks like both players don't agree on what's going on here.
There's maybe some confusion.
As we see an Assemble the Legion there for Scarron that does have 2 tokens. You see now both players are kind of untapping lands, explaining things to the judge here, it looks like. So we'll figure out exactly what's going on if we're going to back up the game. Looks like there's a little bit of a disagreement between the players. But you see Assemble the Legion in play with 2 counters. You see the Boros Key Rune. You see the Cluestone there among Scarron's lands. You also see a Guildgate there in Celestian Guildgate. So we'll figure out what the players look to be disagreeing on here.
Yeah, it seems something maybe Jensen thought maybe Scarron passed the turn, and Scarron saying, no, I wasn't done yet.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes could be some confusion there. Because I'm not sure why Scarron would just show him the Horned Lightning.
Yeah, I mean, the idea here is that the Homing Lightning is going to take care of the Splatter Thug to make it so the Species Gorger has to pick itself up. Something that we saw Frank accomplish in Game 1 when we tuned into this match, is making the Species Gorger, have to pick itself up is detrimental to that card and detrimental to Jensen's game plan. So maybe there was a bit of a miscommunication. It looks like there's a small dispute on when the Homing Lightning was cast. So I'm sure as the judge makes his ruling and we figure out exactly when that takes place, we'll certainly let you guys know at home.
All right, well, definitely reasonable. The judges are there for a reason.
Yeah.
They'll decide, you know, what happened. One guy might have thought that, one guy might have thought this, and they'll get it resolved and they'll continue to play.
Yeah,
so,
and what it looks like the dispute here is that, you know, Jensen plays the Species Gorger and he passes the turn back, and Scarron may have untapped his lands and then said, hold on, I'm not actually done yet. I want to Homing Lightning your guy. And Jensen's saying, well, you untapped your 3 lands already, so that means that, you know, you're in your untap step on your turn. You can't go back there. So, you know, we'll get a judge's ruling on exactly what's going to take place here. As you do see Reed Duke shuffling, Owen patiently waiting for his next match, trying to help out both Duke and Jensen here.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so there's head judge Steven Zwagner, and he'll make his final ruling. He'll get some additional information if need be, and they'll continue playing. All right, so Joe and Reed Duke, they're going into Game 3. You know, Game 3s are always exciting. You never know what's going to happen. Sometimes Game 3, you have the option to play or draw. Sometimes people draw. I know it happens to me a lot because I don't want to have to mulligan. Yeah. I want my opponent to mulligan.
But it looks like, you know, Demestro's deck is a little bit aggressive. You know, again, his card quality isn't that high, and Reed's Duke, as we've seen out over his draft when he was building his deck, is that his deck does not want to get run over, as Reed's going to take a mulligan down to at least 6 series, pile shuffling very, very quickly. You know, it looks like Demestro is, I mean, he might be happy with his hand. You really can't get a read on him here.
He's tired. He looks tired.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long day.
Yeah, it really has. All right. So Reed just pretty much immediately shipped back to his first 7. He knows what he needs, he knows what he wants, and it wasn't there, so now he's going to draw 6. But he's still with a big smile on his face. And Frank and William are still discussing exactly what happened to the judge, and the judge is just kind of getting all the information that he could gain before he makes his final decision. Now, normally when you go to a tournament, there'll be a couple of judges, you have a rules question, something happened, a judge will come over, and you can always appeal to the head judge. The only thing is, when the head judge is giving the ruling, there's nobody to appeal to. All right, so Reed's showing a 6-card hand, and Reed kind of nods and he says, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to keep the 6-card hand."
So both players are underway there. I think we'll cut over to the Mestro and Duke game here while the judge's ruling is taking place. Mestro's going to come out here with a Blood Scrivener.
Yeah.
So he's got a 2-1 on the table already. And again, we know that Reed's Duke does not have any 2-drops.
Yeah,
Reed's deck, does not have any 2-drops in it.
Yeah, Reed's deck is powerful, but it is slow.
Yep.
That's the one thing. And Demestrio probably knows this, and he's going on the offense.
Yeah, he's got a Fencing Ace to follow up with here as well, so we'll see if he has any way to kind of pump up the jam on the Fencing Ace right now. You see an Eyes of the Sky in his hand and a couple of lands. He also does have an Ogre Gate Crasher there, or Gatekeeper, excuse me.
Sure.
So he can
Jailbreaker.
the Jailbreaker. Thank you. So he can push through even more damage that way.
Okay. Yeah, and he does have the Guildgate, which you need to be able to make that lose defender. Yep. So there's Stab Wound.
Yeah, Stab Wound takes care of the Blood Scrivener. In for 2, he comes with the 1/1 double striker, and I think we're going to see a Jailbreaker.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jailbreaker is probably the play here.
He's got the Guildgate, so it's a 4/4 for 4.
Okay.
As Duke's going to untap, he's going to draw. Let's see what he's able to come with on this turn.
It looks like he drew a Forest this turn. Not sure if he needs it or not. Reed's holding his hand up pretty high. And he's thinking about it. Ooh, okay, so it's Toil and Trouble. He's only going to be able to play half of that. He's going to lose 2 life and draw 2 cards.
Yeah, I mean that's a more expensive and just. I mean that's Sign in Blood there, but this is a bad time to be casting Sign in Blood.
I mean, this makes Duke pretty much unmulligan. The only problem is that he's way behind now.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to fall to 8 life.
Yep. And the card that he plays on his turn is going to have to be pretty good.
Wow.
As Demestrio draws his card for the turn.
Yeah.
And that looked like a
Knightly Valor. That's what I was going to say. That would be awesome to put on the Fencing Ace right now. You just bash in, bring Reed Duke to 4 life. And you're able to get another guy out of it?
Yeah, no, if that was Knightly Valor, which it may not have been, as he's going to come across for just 6, going to put Duke down to 8. We do know, again, that Demestrio does have an Eyes in the Sky in his hand.
Okay. It did look like a Knightly Valor, though.
But here's a Plains.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just the Celestial Thing.
Okay. Yeah, normally
it's the Celestial Entry, excuse me. So they do actually look kind of alike. It's just a 3/2 for 2. So he's going to keep giving the beats here.
Normally that card would be better in like a white-green deck, but if you notice, Demestrio does have the green-white Guild Gate, so he's able to have green mana.
He can regenerate.
Yeah, for sure.
So Demestrio is going to draw a card here. He does have a 6 land for a generation if necessary in his hand. As Roll That Rhino is what Duke is going to try to use to stabilize here. There's your 6 land. Here's your attack.
And what can Reed Duke really do? What can he do? Well, he's going to make that block right there.
Yep, takes care of the Fencing Ace. He's going to end up taking 7. He's going to be on a 1. He's going to pass the turn.
Yeah, he's down to 1 life. Reed draws for the turn. Weighing his option. He does have 6 cards in his hand, right? So he's going to have something.
Yeah.
You know, he's double checking with Owen.
Yeah, you see Turtenwald asking, you know, what should he do here? You know, Huey also kind of check in as well. But what we know here, and you guys do know at home as well, is that Demestrio has an Eyes in the Sky in his hand that's just looming, and you see that Duke has no blockers in the air. There's a Dead Reveler. He can't unleash it. Here's the Miming Sleuth. There's the Eyes in the Sky. I'm flying over to finish this one off.
Yeah.
So
wow,
you see
3-0.
Duke extend the hand. Demestrio is going to win this match 2-1. We have the update here. You guys can see the middle screen. Scarin defeats William Jensen 2-1. So in what I think a lot of people would have assumed, Turtenwald, Jensen, and Duke would be maybe crushing Nezen, Scarin, and Demestrio. These 3 have their back against the wall right now.
Yeah, definitely. It could be a Y50 the other way.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking, I saw Demestrio's deck, I saw Frank Scarin's deck, I saw Alec's deck. They weren't too happy. Alec was the only one who was really happy with his deck. But Demestrio and Frank both also won.
Yep.
So definitely a solid showing. And I think we're going to come back to ourselves while, there we are.
So, I mean, we take a look at those 3 matches there.
Okay.
We looked at Demestrio's deck, his black-white deck there versus Reed's deck. And this is one of the things we talked about with Reed's deck. It's a little slow to get off the ground.
Sure.
And if an opponent does pressure him quite a bit, it's going to be difficult for him to win.
Okay.
Now, that's something that Demestrio's deck does very well.
Yes.
It's an aggressive black-white deck. It doesn't have a lot of extort, but it has, you know, some 2-drops, and Fencing Ace and Blood Scrivener, some ways to push through some damage, way to go on the ground in the air with Eyes in the Sky, and finish things off that way. So that's what we saw with the Reed decks in the Reed's match. But on the flip side, look at the other 2 decks on Demestrio's team. Frank Scarin, a much slower strategy.
Yeah.
And then you see Alec Nezen's deck, and we've seen Alec over the course of this week and have slow strategies in Sealed, and now we see a slow strategy there from him in his draft deck against Reed's deck. So I think Reed's deck probably matches up a little bit better against the other decks.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. When I first saw Reed's deck and when we followed him drafting, and we said, you know, do you think his deck's powerful? Yeah, his deck is powerful, but I think it is kind of less powerful than Frank's deck.
Yeah.
You know, and Alec's deck.
Okay.
You know, I don't really like Frank's deck too much. He has a card like Frenzy Tilling in it.
Sure.
But some of the other cards are good. Assemble Allegiance, very good.
Yep. I mean,
You
card
know?
wins the games by itself. That's what it does.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe there's some bombs looming
Maybe.
in Frank's deck. Maybe there's some bombs looming in Alec's deck that we haven't seen yet, as players are sitting down, shuffling, getting ready for the second round of this. As again, There, Skarin, Nezin, and Demetriou are up 3-0 over Turtenwald, Jensen, and Duke right now. We look at Huey's deck right now.
Okay.
You know, it's a little bit slow, it's a bit unwieldy. You see Species Gorger.
Yeah.
You assume that there's probably some interactions there with some coming up play abilities, but you know, the first game that we saw with Jensen, and really didn't do very much.
Okay.
He was trying to set that up and let it do something, and we saw earlier in the Swiss, we saw Species Gorger with Alex Matherton bringing back
Yeah,
those
it was with Alex.
gatekeepers and getting some nice value, but we didn't see that with you. We saw him bringing back Splatter Thug and going, play this again, I guess, and I have a 6/6.
Yeah, maybe it's a high risk, high reward type of card.
Yep.
You know, if you have all the tools you need to draw at the right time, it's going to be awesome. If not, sometimes it kind of backfires on you. You know, 5 mana 6/6 that you have to replay every turn.
Yep.
Kind of only block with it.
Yeah. I mean, that thing's huge. There's no argument there.
Yeah,
but
it is.
definitely has a drawback to it.
You know what's better than a 5 mana 6/6?
What's that?
Alms Beast. just a 4 mana 6/6.
Yeah, I mean that's got a bit of a drawback to it too,
Yeah.
but not quite the heavy drawback that we do see with the Species Gorger. So we'll see how Huey's deck lines up against Nezin's deck, because that's who he's going to be playing. You see our middle match there of
Okay.
Skarin versus Duke, and then we've got Turtenwald versus Demetriou. Turtenwald's deck, he's that red-white aggressive deck. He's going to be against Demetriou and his deck, which is a kind of a black-white aggro mid-range deck. So I mean, that match is going to go by pretty fast, and that's going to be the one that we're going to put in front of you guys right now, as well as you see Turtenwald taking a look at his opener. You see Demetriou taking a look at his. See if both players are going to be able to keep their hand. Turtenwald's happy, Demetriou's happy. We're underway here in round 2 of our best of 9 contest, and there's a True Fire Paladin to start the show.
That's a really nice way to start.
Yeah, I can't complain for Turtenwald there.
Yeah.
As Demetriou is just going to play a swamp and pass the turn back, so Turtenwald's going to draw his card. It's a mountain. Plane's going to come into play. He's going to follow that up.
Oh, wow.
With the Viashino. So the Viashino first blade is going to come in here. Turtenwald's going to come in for 6 on turn 3. And Demetriou, you've got some catching up to do, my friend.
Yeah.
As he's going to Executioner.
Ooh, that's
swing
a nice
take
way to
care of-
catch up.
Yeah, that True Fire Paladin's got to go, and Swing's going to do a nice job of taking care of it.
Yeah, it looks like Demetriou has a nice mix of lands and spells in his hand.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens here. Okay, and there it is, Dead Reveler.
So Dead Reveler is going to play, and he's not going to unleash it, because a 2/3, of course, is better than a 2/2 in this certain situation. So now Turtenwald's going to play a 2/3 of his own with Warmind Infantry, and he's going to pass the turn back. Demetriou draws his card. It's a Blade Trust spy.
Okay, so really good hand for Demetriou. As long as he uses everything properly, he'll be in decent shape this game.
Yeah, so he's going to start off with a Knight of Obligation. He's going to pass the turn back to Turtenwald. Knight of Obligation, definitely the best creature on this board right now.
Oh yeah, by a lot.
Yeah.
Not only is it the biggest creature, it has Vigilance and it has Extort.
So now Turtenwald's going to play his 5th land. He's going to play a Steeple Rock. That's the 5 mana 3/1 first strike with flying.
Yes,
so
it
now
is.
Turtenwald's going to go to the skies. Demetriou's going to draw a card. He draws a swamp. So now he's able to play cards that have 4 mana and then Extort as well. So now you can start chipping away at Turtenwald and gain a little bit of life back too, because he is behind in the damage race right now.
Yeah. So the 3/1 first striker, again, we're not the biggest fans of it. Maybe it'll be good here.
Yeah.
You know, Eyes in the Skies cannot stop it.
Yep.
Unless you have 4. So
now we see an Jailbreaker is going to come in here. Demetriou is going to drain and gain. And pass the turn back, because he does have no good attacks. So, Turtenwald can come across for 3 here in the air. He considers attacking with the other guys for maybe the Battalion Trigger on Warmind Infantry, but 3 in the air is good for Owen. And he's going to play another Steeple Rock. So now 2/3/1 first strike flyers in the air.
that looks like Joe needs to change his chair.
Yep.
Not really too sure what's going on. A couple of players are getting up. We'll
Looks like we're swapping chairs in and out here really quick.
yeah, why not, right?
Yeah.
Get some nicer chairs for the
Make it a little more
for the
comfortable
players.
for the players here. The last 6
Yeah.
people here.
Get
in
this
the
guy
building.
a recliner. He deserves it. Ooh, was that a Night Watch? Not sure what Demetriou drew that turn, but it looks like he has 5 spells in hand.
Yeah.
So a lot of action.
He's just got to get these cards out of his hand. The problem for him is
Lot
that
of
can he
action.
beat these 3/1 first strikers in the air, because the black-white deck does have a great way to beat a 3/1 first striker. I think it's pretty difficult for it to do, actually.
Yeah, I mean the 3 on first strikers, they're fine. 1 toughness, sometimes really bad, but here it looks okay.
Yeah.
So Demetriou will think, what can I do here? What do I need? What's my best way to win this game?
So we do have an update real quick here. Reed Duke against Frank Scarron. Reed Duke up 1-0.
Okay. So, you know, best possible start for Reed's team.
Yep.
And Demetrio really thinking long and hard about this. Now, do you think that Knight of Obligation should come in, or is just way too bad?
No, I don't like that attack at all.
Okay.
You know, just I don't think he can make a good attack here. I mean, I think Owen's going to see right through a bluff if he does attack with it. So here you see a 4/4 coming in here in Ogre Jailbreaker, and now it's decisions for Turtenwald. I mean, he might be more than happy with just taking 4 damage and going down to 15.
But I mean, this attack is just pretty much kind of the same as the Knight of Obligation attack.
Yeah.
He could have just blocked with the 2/2 and 2/3 if he wanted to bang block it.
Yep.
But that's how it went. And Demetrio is still shuffling his cards. I see a Zarichi Tiger, and I see some other spells in his hand.
Yeah, there's a Blade Trust Spy over there as well. You know, he does have plenty of spells in his hand. The question is, you know, how's he going to go about, you know, doing what he's trying to set up? You know, he's trying to push some damage through here, but the reason he's doing that is because he realizes how much trouble he is in from those Steeple Rocks, and so he's tapping some mana right now. Looks like that's a fencing ace
with an extort trigger. So the extort will help a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean a little bit, but not a lot.
Yeah,
honestly.
Not when you're getting hitting for 6 points a turn.
Yep, and now Turtenwald's going to attack with the Warmind Infantry as well. Battalion Trigger is going to resolve. That's going to become a 4/3 attacker. Blocks are going to be looking pretty meh here for Demetrio, especially if Turtenwald has a trick. And he has the 5 mana open. He's Boros, who's representing a lot of different things right now.
Yeah, I think Demetrio probably has the double block with Knight of Obligation and the Dead Reveler. Thoughts on the double block?
I don't dislike it, but it looks like he's more than happy to just chump right now.
Chump with nothing else?
Yeah.
That seems very odd.
Yeah. You know, the question you have to ask yourself if you're Demetrio is that block a game-winning play? Is that something that's going to get me back in the game? As now Turtenwald has a Goblin rally, so 4 Goblin tokens are going to come into play now as well.
Well, why would you attack when you were just going to chump block? Because he attacked with a Jailbreaker.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, all right, I'm only going to make this play if my opponent's at like 2 and I'm trying to kill him or something.
Yeah.
Not when he's on 18 life and I'm just bringing up the 14 life.
So Demetrio's going to draw Plains. He's going to put that into play. He still does have that Zarichi Tiger in his hand.
So can Demetrio pull out of this? You know, he's facing down a lot of creatures. Turtenwald has 8 creatures. He has 4 tokens, 2 flyers, and 2 other guys. So we'll see how this game progresses for Demetrio.
And so Demetrio does cast the Blostrade Spy. Turns over a land for Turtenwald. Turtenwald's going to untap. He's going to draw. As we do see that Nezin has won game 1 here over Jensen.
Ooh, okay. Definitely strong for Nezin, Scarron, and Demetrio. They want to close it out. They don't want another round.
Yeah.
You know?
You want to get it over as soon as you can.
Yeah, and I really don't blame them.
So now here comes Turtenwald, again with the Steeple Rocks, the card that is a giant thorn in Demetrio's side. He has to just chump block here with the Blostrade Spy. And now a massive raid for a lot of damage is going to finish this game off. Yeah, massive raid for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to the dome of Demetrio is going to kill him that game. So Turtenwald's going to be up a match here, and we'll figure out what match we're going to cut to here for you guys. And it looks like we're moving on to the
middle
Duke
game.
versus, we're moving on to Jensen?
Yeah, William Jensen versus
Nezin. Nezin, okay.
Okay, so Nezin won game 1. Here you can see both these guys are pile shuffling. Jensen on the right with the StarCityGames.com sleeves.
Yep.
And we'll...
Nezin with a more powerful creature on his sleeves. Big fan of the Grizzlebrand.
Yeah, Grizzlebrand. Grizzlebrand's a nice one.
Yeah.
All right, there you kind of see a split screen action going on. Nezin and Jensen on the bottom left. Top right, it's Frank Scarron and Reed Duke. So Frank Scarron looks to have a couple guys down. Reed Duke looks to have a couple of guys down. So we're going to be going back and forth, making sure there's action all the time between either Reed, Owen, or even William Jensen.
Yeah. So you see that Jensen does just play. Reed has multiple Rumbleback Rhinos in play, while Scarron just does have a Towering Moss Dog, and then does have the Centaur Healer in play. And it looks like he's already resolved a Frenzy Tilling. You see that on the side of the screen there. He's going to follow that up there with a Rift Scale Predator. So he's looking to stabilize a little bit here. His life total looks like he's doing okay. And we're going to actually stay put here, because it looks like Nezen and Jensen are going to be resolving some mulligans. So we'll get a life total update to make sure that we're good to go here.
Okay.
As we do progress forward.
Yeah. So, which deck has impressed you the most so far, Cedric? Since we pretty much got a glance at all 6 of them.
The one deck that we haven't got to see a ton of is Alec Nezen's deck, and that's the one that's impressing the most, because I don't think he's lost a game yet. I think he 2-0 Turtenwald, and then he is up a game right now against Jensen. And from what we've seen from Nezen, he loves to play these controlling type decks. Yeah. And it looks like that's what he's drafted. He came in with a strategy, and he's executing that strategy. Is what it feels like right now.
Sure, that makes sense. How about between the 5 decks that we saw a lot of?
Whew. Tough to say. I mean, I don't hate Reed's deck. It just takes a little while to get his deck online. Once he does actually get online, it's good. But I mean, he gets pushed over like against the Mestrio, or he stumbles and fumbles around a little bit. His deck's not very good.
Yeah, actually, the Mestrio's deck kind of impressed me more. When I saw it, there was a lot of bad cards I didn't like. I just thought it was kind of stinky in general. But it's actually slightly better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
So. And there we see Frank Scarron. Okay, Duke is saying, here's how I'm ordering blockers, and there's a swine. +5, +4. And he's going to take out both of Scarron's creatures.
And you didn't want him to take the swine. Don't ever doubt the Piggy Gerard.
I wanted to be the Krakenora, but the swine a bit better.
Krakenora can never do that. It looks like Scarron may have just drawn Assemble the Legion for the turn.
Oh, really? Assemble the Legion?
Yeah, he's going through his cards really quickly here. He's also seen an Explosive Impact in his hand, but it looks like he may have an Assemble the Legion among those cards. And, assuming that those life totals are correct, if that's the case right now, it looks like he's going to scavenge onto the Centaur Healer, and he's actually going to get in for some damage here. So it looks like the race might be on here.
Yeah, that's a nice play. Especially that Frank Scarron does have the Explosive Impact.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, let's race. All of a sudden, boom, attack you for 6, 5 you. That's 11-1 turn. That's game over. And look at Reed Duke's life total.
Yeah, the math actually works out perfectly here. So Centaur Healer being at 6/6 is super relevant, and we'll see what Reed wants to do this turn.
I mean, do you think Reed fears some burn spell?
Well, it depends on what he saw game 1, but I mean, there is red mana here. That it depends on how many Explosive Impacts Reed did see in the draft. Or running through my memory, it looks like he may have seen just 1.
Yep. And
in the draft,
I do believe Frank Scarron did not show an Explosive Impact in his first round, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's...
okay. So here's something that can get in the way. It's Desecration Demon.
Desecration Demon. But if Scarron plays something, sacrifices it, do you think Duke's going to chump block? Probably, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, he would have been attacking with that guy.
This was the first pick by Reed in Pack 3. And this is a card that, some people really like, some people really dislike, because, I mean, you take a look at a 4-mana 6/6 flyer. You take a look at a 4-mana 6/6 flyer, and on the surface, it's like, okay, how can this card really be bad? But, the fact that your opponent can kind of control just how good this card is in a lot of situations, it makes it a card that I don't particularly love.
Sure. But, I mean, if your opponent doesn't have cards that make tokens, such as Goblin Rally or Eyes in the Skies, the Desecration Demon is going to shine. It is a 4-mana 6/6 flyer.
That's true. That's true. So now we see, it looks like Scarron coming across again here.
I don't blame him. He has a game plan. He's trying to stick to it.
Yeah, he can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, he understands he's not going to win if the game was super long. So why not try to close it out as fast as possible?
The Desecration Demon, feeling pretty brave. Let's see if Scarron has a trick here.
Let's see. What could Scarron have right about here?
You see Common Bond in his hand right now.
Oh, do you really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Common Bond's a nice one.
But the thing is, you take a look at Duke's mana base right now. He has the Forest, but he also has the two Clue Stones right now.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, like, what can Reed have for this mana? That's what Frank is thinking right now.
So many different cards.
Yeah. Frank might just think to himself, okay, I'm like perfectly fine with this trade, but okay, he's going to go for the Common Bond here. You see he's going to tap a Forest, a Plains, and let's see what other land. He's going to use a Mountain, so he's going to have access to a red, a blue, and then a green or a white. Common Bond looks like it's good to go. Make that Centaur into an 8/8 now. Let's see if he's got a follow play. He does, in the form of Current Striker.
Yeah, better than nothing.
Yeah, he's going to pass the turn back. Or excuse me, Firefish Striker. I apologize.
There you see it on
Much
the
better than
screen.
the current Striker.
All right, so I don't know. I don't know what Duke's main plan is here.
I mean, Reed's deck, again, that we saw, he's going to play a Wirewood, the return spell Wirewood Rebirth to get that back.
Okay. And Duke will draw for his turn.
Or Wildwood Rebirth. He's going to get that back. He's going to get back the Desecration Demon.
I believe Reed is on 4 cards. Scarron is on 2.
And it looks like that Jensen has tied his matchup with Nezin, so it's 1-1 there. As Duke looks like he's just going to play Desecration Demon again.
Let's see.
No, he's going to go Sluiceway Scorpion, which is actually a lot better right now due to Death Touch.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Get in the way of the center healer.
Yeah, the center healer's not looking so tough now. Explosive Impact can take care of it. And additionally, another creature here from Scarron can make it so that Firefish Striker can actually, get through here and make it so that the Sluiceway Scorpion can't block. So we do see Scarron's going to tap some mana here. He's going to go with a Homing Lightning to take care of the Scorpion, a much more efficient answer than Explosive Impact, while also having access to that burn spell.
Exactly, there you see it on the screen. The Homing Lightning, 4 damage, kind of has the Maelstrom Pulse type effect. So pretty nice. Sometimes you get 2 for 1 your opponent.
Yeah. So Scarron is going to attack here. He's going to get that 8 damage through. He's going to push Duke down to 3. Firefish Striker bites the dust, but it looks to be worth it because now Duke's at 3, and Scarron has the Explosive Impact in his hand. So can Duke find a way to either gain some life or have some counter magic to stop this? That's the question.
Or maybe even like a discard spell,
Yep.
right? Those are in the format.
And you saw during the deck building process where William Jensen brought that Mind Rot forward to Reed and said, hey, maybe you should consider playing this in your deck. Your deck is so slow that you want to get in these grinding games, and Mind Rot, while it's not a creature to block on the early turns, it can take away 2 cards from your opponent, and that might be worth it. So we'll see if Reed actually does have one of those in his deck right now or in his hand, as he's going to play Down and Dirty.
Wow. Okay. And he's going to be able to fuse it.
Yeah, so that wasn't Mind Rot itself, but Down gets the job done. There goes,
Symbol Allegiance and Explosive Impact. Wow.
That might be the best Down that we're going to see in this format, my friends.
I think Scarron went from such a huge favorite to now the underdog this game. Meanwhile, we have an update, don't we?
Yep, Turtenwald's going to win the match 2 over Demestrio, so now it is 3-1 for Nezin, Scarron, and Demestrio. Now here comes Sluiceway Scorpion, that's back. Follow that up with a Dead Reveler, no Unleash. Scarron going to untap, he's going to draw. Let's see what he finds. It's a spell, it's a red card, not sure which one it is.
I'm not sure either. Something is better than a land, that's for sure.
Alright, so when he comes, going to block here. Swift Justice, +1/+0 first strike.
Wow.
So he's going to gain a whole bunch of life, 9 of it to be exact.
Yeah. That was really important.
Yeah.
Get
really, man, it really makes you wonder if Scarron was supposed to establish that Assemble the Legion. You could see his play, what his thought process was. He was thinking, I'm going to push through some damage, I'm going to finish him with Explosive Impact, as long as he doesn't have a discard spell. But as you said many times this weekend, Mind Rot, Purge the Profane, or Profane the Purge, and now you see Down and Dirty, all those discard 2 effects. Those cards are good in this format.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. But if you think about it, like Cedric was saying, if you were to get the Assembled Legions down, the game did progress over multiple turns, all of a sudden you could have, 10 tokens in play. And not many people are going to come back when you get 10 tokens and the next turn you get, increase. So
here's an Excavate the Blood Witch. Boy, Reed is really turning up the gas right now. So Excavate Rakdos Blood Witch comes in, no Unleash, in for 3. Has the Dead Reveler in play already. It's a 2/3. Would be a 3/4 if it had Unleash, but it doesn't. And then you see the Desecration. That comes into play now. And now Frank has to ask himself, how am I going to get out of this mess I put myself in? Because not only is Reed empty-handed with a beautiful board, but he's got 2 Clue Stones to sacrifice if it ever comes down to that. To find more cards. And if you're Scarron, you have to think to yourself, some of my best resources are gone because I don't have Explosive Impact or Assemble the Legion to save me.
Alright, so Duke will draw first turn. He drew really slowly. I feel Reed has been drawn, pretty slowly recently. Really thinking about all his plays.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at his graveyard there. He's got the Sluiceway Scorpion in his graveyard that he can consider, scavenging onto something here. It's kind of interesting though. Scavenging onto some of these creatures might be a little bit dangerous. You scavenge onto the Exiva or the Dead Reveler, then those creatures can't block because of Unleash. But if you put yourself on the Desecration Demon, a little bit bigger.
Okay.
But scaring at 26, do you really need that thing to be an 8/8 instead of a 6/6?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Maybe. So, as you see, there's a shot of Frank Scaren's teammate, Alec Nesin. He's trying to push his team to the 4 win mark.
Yeah.
So pretty much on deck or right on the bubble of just closing it out. So we would need Frank and Nesin to win to end the top 8 right now, or end the top 4.
That would finish it. But Scaren with his back against the wall, he's down a game. Nesin in game 3, Turtenwald looking on as he's finished his match early, which isn't much of a surprise, of course. Turtenwald with the Boros deck, he is definitely going to finish things off quickly, especially against the Mestros deck as well. As Reed's going to go to his attack step, he says a Desecration Demon trigger. Skarn shrugs his shoulders, says that's fine. So Reed says, all right, just Exiva. And that's just running in here as a 3/3 first strike here against an 8/8 Centaur healer?
Yes.
All right, what is this?
What do you think this means? Probably Reed has something, right? Reed Duke?
I mean, definitely has something. I just don't know what that something is right now. As Reed's going to take a look at Scaren's graveyard, and Scaren is going, what is this attack by you, Reed?
Really, really interesting. What do you think you would do here? You'd be thinking about it for a while?
I'm at 26.
Yeah.
I mean, I would try to deduce what I think Reed has. He's going to block here. Okay, so let's take a look here. He's tapping mana really, really fast. What is this?
It is...
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Okay, so that's a Morg Burst. Oh, boy. So Morg Burst is going to finish off the Centaur. It's going to get back the Swine. 5 damage plus a 3 from the Exiva. I mean, he's at 26. I just want to take it there. And now, Frank just plays him out and he passes the turn back. So Duke's going to draw a card. He takes a look. It's not Bonfire the Dam, believe it or not. As he does draw his card.
The way he draws, it makes you think, okay, does he have Bonfire in his deck? Maybe it's going to be a Bonfire this turn.
So now he's going to come across for 8. Let's see what Reed's going to follow this turn up with here.
Starting to tap some lands.
So
that's usually a good sign.
This little piggy. Is it going to come to play? It's not. Is it?
What could it be? What could it be?
All right, this little piggy came
to
play.
Wow.
Now here's something
your
scary
best friend. What?
Traitorous Instinct does win the game right now for Scaren. Now, I don't know if he has that in his deck or not, but that's a card that can actually win the game. But he doesn't have it. Reed's going to sacrifice the Cluestone. He's going to get himself a new card. He's going to untap those lands, untap those creatures, going to draw a card on his turn. And what you're doing right now, if you Reed's just saying, I want to get this game over with as fast as humanly possible. This turn, I'm attacking for 6 plus 5 plus 2. That's 13. Plus the Scavenge from the Scorpion. That's 15, but that's not lethal yet.
No. All right, he's counting up. He's bashing with everything.
Yeah, so 6, 5, 13 looks to be attack Scaren. At 18, he's going to go down to 5. So now, just a couple turns ago it was 26 to 3.
Yeah, a lot different now.
It's 5 to 3. And I don't know if Scaren has a draw here. I don't know if he has Annihilating Fire. I don't know if he has Traitorous Instinct. I don't know if he has another Explosive Impact. But he's playing unadmirably. He's trying desperately to top deck his way out of this game.
Yeah, Frank's a fighter. We saw him play to the end against Osip.
Yep. So no reason to concede, especially in the finals. Concession does nothing for you. What is that card? It's a red card in his hand. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm not too sure yet either.
It must not be very good, but I don't know what it is.
It could be +3/+0 to a blocker in first strike.
Sure.
Kind of looks like that picture a little bit.
Yeah.
So there they are. William Jensen, Reed Duke in the middle this time, and Owen Turnwall closest to your screen.
Yep.
All right, so what's going to happen? You see Owen watching his 2 teammates play.
Reed really in the tank here.
Yep.
Really with a difficult decision on what to do for the turn.
Okay.
You see Huey kind of wants to help out, but it looks like he's in a bad situation
Yeah,
himself.
I know,
He's got his hand on his head here, taking a look at his board state. And now he's picking up the card, so we're gonna get a result to see who won this match. Not quite sure.
I think William. Oh yeah. Okay. So
all right. So Huey wins the match 2-1. So now it's 3-2.
3-2. All right. So nice comeback. And Reed's up a game versus Frank Scarron.
Pretty good position right
Yeah.
now.
So it might just be 3-3 going into the final round.
Yeah. And wouldn't that be fitting? Wouldn't that be fitting if that's what happened? I mean, we have two great teams just battling for the championship here. So would it really come to surprise anyone that we'd have to go the full 9 to get it done?
No surprise here.
No. You see Reed consulting his two teammates here, basically saying, do I play another creature here? What do I commit to the board? What am I supposed to do in this situation? You see Frank is just sitting here, he's just going, I can't really do anything. I got one card in my hand. I got this red card that doesn't look like it's very good. And just saying, I don't know what you guys are thinking about over there, but I got a top deck. He's going to play a mountain. He's going to tap a bunch of mana. What's the follow-up play this turn? Okay, so this is the Sign and Blood effect. Draw 2, deal him 2.
And that should be it, right?
Yeah, that finishes off. Yeah, that finished off because the Sign and Blood deals 2.
Yeah, of course.
And then he takes 3 from that. Yeah, so Trump actually finished it off. Yeah, okay, got it. I was wondering what they were thinking about that. I guess the thought is what if Frank's card is an instant that he can cast.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's an instant that he can cast, then he takes 4, he goes down to 1, and I'm giving him a draws to actually get himself out of this terrible situation. So that's actually why you saw Reed, Owen, and Huey thinking about the play, but they decided, all right, yeah, pull the trigger on it. I don't think it's anything. I think it might be a land.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, Scarron didn't have anything that he could cast in response to that. So it is 3-3. Both players are moving around, all 3 players are moving around and shuffling, and they are ready for their final battle.
Yeah, that's
it's
it.
The final countdown.
The final battle.
All right, so let's break down. It's not, but there are remixes of everything.
I make remixes.
You could say that was a mashup. How about that?
Yeah, Party in the USA.
That's Miley Cyrus. I don't know why she ever has to come into the conversation.
I don't know. All right, so which match you want to focus on? We didn't really see Alec Nezin play yet. We did see Reed Duke play. Saw a little bit of Owen. Maybe not William Jensen this time. Do you want to focus on Frank Scarron versus Owen?
I think I actually want to see Nezin's deck next.
Do you?
It's the
okay,
one
that's
deck that
fine.
We haven't really seen much of.
Yeah.
I think we're going to start there with Nezin and Duke.
Okay.
We'll start at the top for you guys, and we see that Turtenwald's going to play against Scarron this round. So Turtenwald, his red-white aggro deck against Scarron's kind of slower deck. He has Frenzy Tilling. He's got Assemble the Legion. He's got Centaur Healer as kind of an early game play. Can he handle being beaten down quickly? That's the question there. You look at the Jensen versus Demetrio match. Jensen's deck is a little mid-rangey.
Okay.
Versus Demetrio's, what looks to be an aggressive black-white deck, but it's a black-white deck that does not have very much extort. We've only really seen Knight of Obligation, I believe it, a Kingpin's Pet from Joe. And then at the top, you see Nezin's playing a more controlling deck against Duke, who's playing that mid-rangey slow deck that, if it can get into late game, is able to generate some insane advantages with the power of all of his cards, including Master Pyromancer and Exo Rakdos Blood Witch. But Nezin's deck is a little more controlling. It looked like he was kind of Esper.
Yep.
So how is that going to play out? Is that going to be a grinded-out affair? That's the question.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm taking a look at Alex's deck list. Yeah, he's Esper. He's got some decent cards. He's got some tricky cards in here. He's playing Cancel. He's playing a bunch of instants. He's playing Fall of the Gavel. So those are 2 counter spells you don't really see too often. Right, Cedric? With Cancel and Fall of the Gavel?
Yeah.
Not too often?
But I think, the thing that's interesting about this format is that a lot of people actually like counter spells in this format.
I like counter spells in the format. Yeah, people in Return to Ravnica really like the spell a lot.
Yep.
A Syncopate is always a solid counter spell.
Yep.
Cancel, even Cancel, they're all solid counter spells.
So you see both players underway here. You see a couple lands here for Reed, and this is how a lot of Reed's games play out. You see 3 mana, you see a Clue Stone, he passes the turn back. He's just trying to get his mana online. Nezin's trying to do the same thing, but Nezin has all 3 colors. Now he's got a Kingpin Spet, so now he's going to be a little bit ahead on the damage race here, because again, we saw Reed draft his deck, we saw Reed build his deck. He does not have a ton of removal.
Yeah.
What he does have here is he does have
4/4
Exava, the Rakdos Blood Wish. He's going to unleash this, so 4/4 first strike haste. This creature, Gerard, is borderline impossible to block.
Yeah, this card is very good. And each other creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has haste. So if Reed were to play any other Blood Rush guys, all those guys are going to have haste as well. So this is a pretty exciting game. Nezin had a nice draw too with Island Swamp Plains Kingpin's Pet.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a good start, having all his mana online. There's a Plains. Here comes the Kingpin's Pet in for 2. Let's see if we're going to see a Drain. Yeah, we see Cellar Songbirds. I think we might see an Extort here as well. We may not. Okay, so what you see here is either A, he missed the Extort trigger, or B, he's representing Smite.
I think he missed it because the way he motions with his hand. So I'm almost certain Nezin does not have the Smite here.
Okay. Ivy Lane Denizen, and he does just pass the turn back. What if Nezin's on the full bluff?
Yeah, maybe it's the full bluff. Let's see if he actually has Smite in his deck. Oh, he has two smites.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe not then.
All right. So here's a.
Man, I would have got bluffed out.
Yeah. So here's a Sin Collector, and now that's going to take a look at Duke's hand. You see the Toil Trouble, you see the Down and Dirty, you see the Rollback Rhino, and the Horn Caller's Chant. So plenty of good targets there for Sin Collector, a card that I'm not surprised to see this one be too good, honestly.
What do you think it would take here?
I like taking Toil Trouble. I think we're a little far away from Down and Dirty being a great card. We're super far away from Horn Caller's Chant being a great card. And, of course, you can't take the Rhino. So give me Toil Trouble. I don't want my opponent to draw any cards. Just make him live off the top of his deck if I'm Alec.
Yeah, okay. I kind of like it as well. Just take the Toil and Trouble, get it out of the picture. But instead, Down and Dirty.
Maybe he doesn't want Reed to get too down and dirty. Maybe his thought here is that, all right, if he's going to cast Toil, he's going to deal 2 damage to himself. Yes, he's going to get 2 cards, but I actually like my opportunity to win a race here because I have a Kingpin's Pet, I've got the Bird from Cellar Songbirds, and I've got Extort.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe Nezin has really good cards in his hand and doesn't want to have to discard them from the Down and Dirty.
Sure.
So that's another option. All right, so this game is pretty exciting. And remember now, this is it. This is just best 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
First team to 5 wins. Each team has 3. Is down to the wire.
Now here's your Rhino. Here's your +1/+1 counter on the Rhino. And that Rhino actually right now does have haste because of Ezva.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Does.
Do you think it'll just get in with the hexproof guy? Rollback Rhino because
it's a 4/5.
It just can't get smited.
Yeah. So your Smite plan that goes up in smoke, Alec. Messick, you're going to have to take 5 as he's going to untap. He's going to draw a card.
Nezin?
It feels like to me
What?
the race is on.
Yeah, the race could be on. You know, Nezin has a couple of flyers. He also has an Extort creature that he could use to kind of swing the race more in his favor.
He's got some nice cards to jump block with too if it is going to be a race. And you see the Cellar Songbirds, that card stanks. Also, he's ready to block.
I mean, also Sin Collector. That doesn't have a really good body. Maybe they could just gang block a 3/3 or something. Yeah. Why not? Better than just sitting there doing nothing.
Yep.
So let's see what happens.
Yeah, we shall.
This would be a sick comeback, right? You're down 0-3, and you just come back and you win.
I've seen some things, my friend. We've seen some comebacks in my day.
Yeah.
He's going to tap some mana here. Now here's an Orzhov Charm plus a... Alright, so he's going to see an Orzhov Charm plus a Extort. He's going to take care of the Ivy Lane Denizen. Ezva can't block. And you see how Nezin has separated his creatures there at the top?
Yeah.
He's got the Sin Collector. He's got the Kingpin's Pet, the Bird. He's ready to get in for 5 here.
Okay.
So now he's really racing, dude. 5 plus the Extort trigger is going to bring Reed down to 8 now.
Okay, so we're going to go down to 8. Nezin's at 11 because of the Orzhov Charm.
Yep.
Yeah, Orzhov Charm is a sick card, but again, there is a slight drawback to it.
There is some cost associated to it, that's for sure. And if both players get their life totals separated out, Nezin is going to pass the turn back, still representing Smite. Has never cast that Smite yet. He's been holding on to it, or at least bluffing it the entire game. As Reed draws his card for the turn, let's see if Ezva is going to actually come in ever. Does Reed actually believe in that? We looked again at Nezin's deck list. He does have 2 Smites. Doesn't mean he has them in hand. Maybe he's doing an insane job at bluffing them.
All right, so Reed Duke is weighing all his options. He doesn't want to blow for his team. He doesn't want to blow for himself. He doesn't want to blow for everybody who actually tweeted at us and said they wanted to watch Reed Duke draft. So he's trying to do the best job he could. It's late, he's tired, but he has to stay focused and try to take home the trophy.
That's right. You got to earn it. We're 73 minutes into the match. I mean, players are actually playing at a pretty healthy pace given the circumstances here. As you see Turtenwald kind of glooming in here. saying, Reed's going, I got a pretty tough decision to make. You want to help me out, former player of the year? Well,
Sure.
says, I guess I don't mind.
Why not, right? All right, so they're just doing some math, saying, hey, you know, I think if I do this, he's going to swim back with that. That's the whole thing. We saw that on camera before. People get just too anxious. They make this attack. All of a sudden, their opponent just untaps, attacks all their guys. They're not really expecting it, and they lose the game.
Yeah.
You know, that happens. You want to make sure you're not making any mistakes.
Yeah. Don't get overconfident, especially when you have two players to help you.
Yeah.
And two pretty darn good ones on both sides. You know, if Nez needed a little help from Scarin or Demestro, I think he'd probably take their advice. Same thing he's had for Reed here from Turtwald and Jensen.
Yeah. That's definitely a good analysis there. So, does Duke have any good attacks whatsoever?
I mean, the Rhino attack is certainly legitimate, just because, you know, it can't die to Smite, which is why we saw it last year, and also it's going to keep the pressure on Nezin. You know, I don't think that Nezin has any good blocks. I mean, he can chump block or he can just take the damage.
Okay.
You know, and if he takes the damage, he's going to go down to 7. But now you see Reed's going to tap a lot of mana. Okay, here we go.
What's
He's
it going to
come to
be?
this decision. All right, so it's Toil Trouble.
All right, so he's doing both sides.
We'll figure out what all the targets are for here.
Yeah. I mean, Duke could target himself and draw 2. He could then target Nezin
With the trouble.
with a trouble
Yeah.
and you know, deal some damage. Maybe he wants to throw everything at Nezin.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like this is a. To me, for some reason, it feels like Toil Trouble is just targeting Nezin here.
Yeah.
Well, just both halves. The fuse. It's like it's all going up there.
All right. So we're waiting confirmation here. Is this going to resolve? Does any player have an effect?
So he's going to draw 2 and then take a bunch. So he takes 2 from Toil, and they're both at Alex. So he's going to take a bunch of damage here, and now you're going to see a Zorius Charm.
Okay.
Looks like he's going to put, so he's going to put Exo back on top of the deck. He's going to chump block here. That's a pretty timely Zorius Charm, you ask me.
Yep, definitely.
He wasn't able to extort because his mana was blue, white, blue. But now you see the Rhino, after damage does resolve with the Toil Trouble on the Rhino, Nezin down at 4. And he knows that Ezva is coming off the top of the deck, so he, of course, doesn't want to make the mistake of, you know, there's a haster coming.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a 4-power haster, too, with me at 4 life.
Okay. So our update on the match. It looks like Scarin is up a game against Turnbull.
Yeah, and we see Jensen is up a game against Demestrio, so these players are playing fast and furious. I can't wait to see. This is definitely going to come down to the 9th match. It's not even close.
Yeah, it really is. It's probably going to be Reed Duke because he normally plays pretty slow.
Yeah, it's definitely going to come down to the 9th match for sure.
Yeah, all comes down to the 9th match.
5 of these 6 players are playing the Pro Tour in 2 weeks. And I mean, it's still, you know, like hilarious or whatever to me that the one player who's not playing is like almost certainly going to the Hall of Fame the next time there's a vote. It's crazy the skill level of these players here. So you're going to see a Kieran coming to play an Extort trigger. That's going to go up to 5. Duke going to go down to 7. He's being a little bit careful with his attacks here, so he's going to come across with a Sin Collector and the Kingpin's Pet. Going to bring Duke down, looks like to 3, even though he's being rather cautious about it. So Duke goes down to 3, and doesn't look like he's going to pass the turn back.
All right. And
Now,
Duke's going to untap.
No, he's still repping here.
What is he repping?
Smite.
Smite.
He
Oh,
has
yeah,
been
he
the
is.
entire
Yeah.
time. He still hasn't cast it yet.
Yeah, the whole entire game. And he does not have Smite in his hand, correct?
We're not sure. I mean,
We're not sure.
we don't have a good look at his hand as there's Ezva.
Okay. I mean, we know he has 2 in his deck.
Yes.
Does he have any in his hand? We don't know.
Yeah.
Reed's not too sure either. Reed thinks maybe.
Okay, so Exva comes in. It doesn't get unleashed, and he doesn't attack with it. So Nezin, is he going to block here? Okay, so he is going to block.
Does block, all right.
So Nezin quickly
Life totals
attacks.
are
He
low.
draws his card. He attacks with Kingspin's Pet. And now he's going to play Skyline Predator, and he's going to extort for 1.
Sure. There it is.
Cast it, play it, lock it in, extort it. All right, Reed makes him just go through the motions there, which is smart in case he does make a mistake because he's, you know, kind of shortcutting, and Reed says, if you're going to do it, you know, do it all the way. So Nezin is going to be up a game here. So Nezin and Scarin up 1, Jensen up 1. We'll cut over to another match. I think we're going to go down to Jensen and Demestrio here as the opening turns of their game are underway. You see Turtenwald and Scarin shuffling up here for game number 2. Huey has a Croconora in play. You see on Demestrio's side, he has the old 1-3 with a story to tell.
Yeah, he does have a story to tell. out of Dragon Maze. I like to call it the Black Augur Bolus. Why not? But the real name is the Bane Alley Blackguard. So just 2 mana, 1/3. Yeah, nothing too great. But there's a 3 mana 1/3 that gets a lot bigger.
Yeah.
There's a Krakenora.
And there's a card that I know this is gonna hurt you. A card that's better than Krakenora. Sorry, man.
Which
Knight of
card?
Obligation is better.
Oh
than
yeah, it
Krakenora,
is. Yeah,
right?
Knight of Obligation, definitely a powerhouse card.
But Splatter Thug's the best card ever.
No, it's not.
It's better. It's better than
Splatter
everything that's
Thug
on the
cannot
board.
get through of that Knight of Obligation.
So Splatter Thug comes into play, Unleash. Krakenora evolves up to a 2/4, and we'll see what Demestrio is going to come up with this turn as he is down a game, back against the wall. Can't afford to lose another one because then it puts the entire match in the hands of Nezin and Scar, in which, to be fair, pretty good hands to be in.
Yeah, sure. I mean, again, this is only the second set of matches. I apologize, this is the third set of matches.
So there is the Jailbreaker and the Stork Trigger.
Sure.
So Demestrio is just trying to build a board here. Huey does have the mana that he needs to be able to keep facilitating this game. He's got a pretty decent board. We'll see. You know, he's had species boards here every time we've tuned in with 5 mana.
Definitely. It looked like Owen reached over there. Maybe looked at a deck box or something.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of help.
Yeah, maybe help right there. Yeah. So this is really crucial here. All comes down to pretty much this. Mestrio, Jensen, Scarin, Turdenwall, and then finally Alec Nezin and Reed Duke. So what can Jensen be thinking about right now? He's thinking, all right, how can I develop my board? What game plan is going to happen? How can I actually win this game, right?
So there's his 5th land. So let's see what Huey's come up with this turn. He's going to play a spell. It's another Splatter Thug. We'll see if he's going to Unleash or not. And he is going to Unleash, which means Krakenora is moving on up. It's going to be a 3/5 now. So you see 2/3/3 first strike from Jensen that can block, a 3/5 Krakenora from Jensen that can block. As Demestrio is going to untap, he's going to draw his card. Again, Demestrio has kind of gummed up the board in such a way that Huey doesn't have very good attacks. He's got the 2/4 Knight of Obligation. He has the 4/4 Ogre Jailbreaker. You know, so no real good attacks from any of Jensen's creatures, even though his army is pretty sizable right now. The toughest on Demestrio's side is really making things difficult for Jensen.
Yes. So Demestrio's starting to tap some lands. Let's see what he wants to do here. He's looking at Jensen's creatures. I'm not too sure why. Normally, if you're looking at your opponent's creatures, just because you have a removal spell.
Yeah.
But there's not really a creature you want to remove. Maybe the Krakenora?
Yeah, I mean, you could remove the Krakenora and get yourself in a bit of a race situation here, especially when one of your creatures does have Vigilance. But he is just going to play the Spy here. We'll see who he's going to target.
He's probably going to target Jensen, I'm guessing, right?
I mean, we've seen the Spy target, you know, you can target yourself with the Spy.
Sure.
If you turn, see a Gruul Rage Beast. Oh, wow, here we go. Frostburn Weird, a Keyrune.
All right, finally hits a land.
Okay. So that's a pretty gosh darn good Blade Spy there. Wow.
And he'll extort for 1 there because the Knight of Obligation's ability.
Yep.
I think Joe Demestrio was just doing a card count just to make sure he had the right amount of cards. So Jensen untaps. Jensen will... Well, he's going for his draw step. He's just checking his graveyard, I guess.
Yeah, see some of the cards that was turned over by the Bloodstream Spy. A little bit of frustration there. Probably his best card in his deck, the Gruul Rage Beast, got turned over. Maybe that was part of his plan, as you know, craft a game state, play this thing, and then really start blowing up some of these threats that are kind of annoying that I can't get through. But now here comes Splatter Thugs, so this is pretty telling here. And those Splatter Thugs weren't able to attack the previous turn, but now Jensen is more than willing to get in with them now. So let's see what trick he has up his sleeve, if he does have any. So you're going to see this getting in the way. But now you're going to see Huey with the trick there to take
+1, +0, first strike if you wanted to overload it.
Yep, it takes care of the Jailbreaker with a Weapon Surge.
Yes, exactly. Weapon Surge right there. So let's see.
Actually, wonder if Demestrio knew that he had that in his deck from the previous game.
Maybe. So Jensen got left open 4 mana. What do you think he's going to do with this 4 mana here?
Yeah, I don't really think too much. You know, I don't think he's like kind of representing anything. I think his attack was basically, you know, if you block, you know, the Jailbreaker on my Splatter Thug and the Knight of Obligation, my other one, you know, I overload the Weapon Surge. I completely blow you out in combat. Your best 2 creatures are off the board, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself. So it doesn't mean he has to have anything. I mean, if anything, Gerard, he could be having color issues because he only has 1 forest and 1 island.
But why would he not overload just to deal an extra point of damage?
Just to get the extra point of damage in? That's a good question.
You know, it really shows that he's going to have some.
Yeah, okay.
There it is.
So there it is. I was going to say, we saw Syncopate earlier.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and so Syncopate's going to take care of the underworld connections here. As we do have a quick update, Scarron and Turtenwald are going to be moving on to Game 3 here, so with any luck, we'll be able to cut over to that. But this game is pretty good right now.
Definitely.
Moving into the mid to late game here, a pretty darn good Syncopate there on what is arguably Demestrio's first or second best card in his deck.
Definitely,
in Underworld Connections.
Yeah, it's an Angelic Skirmisher and Underworld Connection. It's kind of like the 1-2 punch.
Yep.
And he can't even cast the Angelic Skirmisher right now, the way it is.
You just tapping that very quickly here. And so in comes to play the red Maze Creature in Maze Rusher. This has haste. It's a 6/3. And again, not a lot of good blocks here for Demestrio.
No, it's... What can he really do? He's going to put the Knight of Obligation...
Is he going to double block
there?
Yep.
I think he has to double block there.
Because he has to get the Maze Rusher off the table. So Maze Rusher...
7 damage he's taken?
Yeah, I mean, that's a 2-for-1 there for Maze Rusher. Don't forget, of course, that Croconera was evolved because of Maze Rusher as well.
Course.
So that's a 4/7 right now. 7 damage, as you said, did come through. So now it's a battle of Splatterthug, and a large Croconera against just a Knight of Obligation and the cards that are in Demestrio's hand. And none of them look all that impressive right now to me, Gerard. Yeah. And if he does have Angelic Skirmisher, he needs the planes, and he needs it now. Yeah,
this game is looking pretty good for Jensen right here. And Demestrio looks to have a handful of white cards, right?
He has the Skirmisher in his hand.
He does?
Okay. Yep. And so now he's thinking about casting Fencing Ace, but you see Scarron saying, hold on a second. I know you got a plan, but let's just wait just a minute.
Yeah. All right, so what will he go with? He will go with the Fencing Ace, and he's going to Extort.
Yep.
All right, so what's the follow-up?
Deviant Glee and Extort.
Okay. So maybe Demestrio thinks that he could actually outrace Jensen?
So it's either a matter of outracing, or Deviant Glee is going to give this guy +2/+1, which means that he can actually just trade for one of these Splatterthugs. Fencing Ace being a 3/2 first striker right now, maybe he's more concerned with just being able to trade with the one Splatterthug, Knight of Obligation in front of the other Splatterthug, take 4 from the Croconora.
Sure.
And hope that Jensen's hand is kind of weak.
2-for-1 himself?
Yeah, I don't love it.
Yeah, I don't love it either.
I don't love it, but you got to do what you got to do trying to win.
Yeah. Maybe he's just trying to buy time until he draws a planes for the Angelic Skirmisher. Yeah, see, he doesn't block.
Okay, so he doesn't block.
Yeah, I think his plan is just to go for it. But Jensen's dropping something else.
6 mana.
There it is.
So now he's got the blue Maze Creature there.
The Maze Glider. Yeah, 3/5 flyer.
Yep.
So really, really important. Although the Maze Glider doesn't help out anything in Jensen's board as of now.
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt to have a 3/5 flyer out there.
3/5 flyer, solid body for sure.
And I don't think Demestrio drew the planes here, because now you see he slowed down dramatically this turn. And I think if he had the planes, he would have slammed it down, as his draw step looks like it was an eye in the sky.
Oh, wow.
And now we have an update here for you. Alec Nezin does win 2-0. I think Alec Nezin 3-0, 6-0'd this. Is that what happened here?
Yeah, pretty much.
So he beats Reduke in 2 rather quick games. So now Nezin, Scarron, and Demestrio are up 4-3.
Yeah, so it pretty much all comes down to this and Turtenwald's match. If possible, maybe we can take a look at Turtenwald's match really quick. This game does look very good for Jensen.
It's certainly looking in Jensen's favor here. Maybe we do a quick peek.
Yeah, just a quick peek. Yeah. All right, so it's still early in the game, so we're probably going to have time to switch back for that, because we want to make sure we guys give you all the updates. We want to show you the final game, which looks to be between Frank Scarron and Owen Turtenwald.
Yeah, you see the two Knights of Vigilance there. Looks like a Night Watch resolved in that game. You see on Turtenwald's side, he's attacking there with the Steeple Rock, the 3/1 first striker flyer.
Yep.
He's tapping some mana on his turn, so maybe he has another Steeple Rock. But you see him casting a spell.
Oh, it's a Goblin Rally.
No, it looks like a Night Watch on his
wow.
as well.
Okay, Night Watch in his game.
So we'll cut back to that game in just a second.
Sure.
We're going to keep our focus here on Demestrio and Jensen, because this game does look pretty close, and you can definitely see Demestrio trying to figure something out right now.
He's trying to... I mean, Demestrio's only on 8 life. And he's facing down Splatterthug, Croconora, and the
Maze Glider.
The Maze Glider, yeah. So it's... Demestrio's in a rough spot. Yeah. So 4-3 right now. It's the team which team gets to 5 first.
Yep.
So pretty much best of 9.
So Nezin just needs to finish up. You know, Nezin's already done his job.
Yes.
So now it's up to Demestrio to try to get this game and see if he can push it over to a game 3 with Jensen. As Jensen is just taking a look right now at his hand. He's taking his time because he knows that he's in a favorable position, but at the same time, he needs to make sure that he doesn't run into any traps right now. You know, he's definitely favored in this position, but by no means does he need to rush anything. Because one thing you have to keep in mind as well is you saw the previous turn, you saw Demetrio play a fencing ace, drain, play the defensively, drain, and then when Huey attacked, he didn't block with it. So if you're Huey and you know about the Angelic Skirmisher, you have to think to yourself, okay, maybe that's what he's trying to set up, but at the same time, I don't want to run into some trick that just absolutely ruins me. I can't let that happen. And now you see him talking with Reed. He wants to make sure that he knows what he wants to do this turn.
Exactly. Definitely a tough board. You know, Demetrio is on 8 life.
Yep.
Like you're saying, so.
I mean, you can look at Huey right now. You know, it's his turn. It really feels like, to me, he's thinking to himself, I just kind of want to attack everything.
Yeah.
Yep. And so here they come. And basically make Joe have it, whatever it is. And again, we can't see Huey's hand. So we don't know what he has, and we're seeing eyes in the sky here and extort. So Demetrio is going to get 2 1/1 birds. If you're Huey, it's probably a bit of a sigh of relief because those birds aren't very good in this combat.
I mean, all those birds are going to do a chump block.
Yeah.
Joe really has no good blocks here.
Yeah, these blocks are not great.
All right, so as you can see, those bird tokens come into play.
Now you see Demetrio trying to figure things out right now. And the other thing that's difficult here, again, is you have to worry about so many different things from Huey. He's got red, blue, and green mana, you know, Blood Rush, you know, any of the common pump spells, Giant Growth, what have you. You got a lot of things to think about right now.
Okay. Do you think Demetrio's ever thinking maybe he could crack back with the fencing ace and try to steal this game out of nowhere?
Yeah, I mean, he wants to be able to do that. That's why he didn't block with the previous turn, you know, because he wants to set it up with the Skirmisher, with the life link, to gain himself 6 life back, or potentially vigilance as well, but he just can't get to that point because he doesn't have the second white land. So now you're going to see the bird get in front of the Maze Glide. You see Night of Obligation get in front of the Splatter Thug. You see the bird token get in front of the 4/7 Croconaur. Splatter Thug is going to come through. It's going to deal Demetrio 3. Going to put him down to 6, it looks like. And after the dust clears, as you said, those birds are going to use as chump blockers. And we'll see if Jensen has anything to do in the second main phase. He doesn't. He just passes it back. Demetrio draws a card. And it's a swamp.
Oh, wow. Not what he wanted.
No.
He really wanted a plains or a spell that would have a big impact on the board.
He needs, the only way for him to get out of this situation was playing Skirmisher. You see him shrugging his shoulders, basically saying, guys, I'm trying, but I don't think there's anything I can do. You know, he's going to play that creature there, and he's going to extort. So, you know, as much as he would like it to be useful, but he's coming in. Oh, my goodness.
That's it. And Demetrio takes the match because of the extort.
He wins the game?
Yeah, he won the game because he went for it. Huey just had nothing.
Oh, my God. I'm stunned.
All right. So we're back
I think Demetrio wins that game.
It's 1-1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Demetrio wins
yeah,
that game.
yeah.
Yeah, we have it correct there. Demetrio wins that game
Yeah.
instead of Jensen. Wow.
Yeah,
so
crazy.
Jensen just has nothing there?
Yeah, he just had nothing. He went for the attack.
I wonder, did he have to make the attack like that on his turn?
That's exactly what I suggested. I said, you know, he's trying to go with the fencing ace, deal the 6 damage because double strike, and the extort did the last point of damage.
Wow.
Crazy.
All right, so we're going to cut over this game here. I thought Jensen had that game wrapped up with Demetrio's body language. He kept shrugging his shoulders. I didn't know it was a shrug my shoulders, go for it.
No.
I thought it was a shrug my shoulders, guys, I'm trying. I didn't draw the planes, I lost. But
Yep.
now we're going to have a game 3 between Demetrio and Jensen as we cut into Turtenwald and Scarron. You see on Turtenwald's side, the 4 Goblin tokens from Gala Rally. You see a 2/2 Knight with Vigilance in play. Scarron's side as Turtenwald's on the initiative here. Scarron's side, he has the Boros Key Rune. He's got a Cluestone in play, Swift Justice in his graveyard. Just a couple of cards in his hand, so maybe Scarron had to mulligan a couple times this game.
Yeah, let's. I don't know what happened.
He's got a bunch of lands, but not much going on. It doesn't look like he has
6,
he's at
8,
2
9,
cards in his
11.
hand.
So he has 11. 7, 8. I don't know. Yeah, I think probably Frank must have mulliganed at least once.
All right, so
Oh, it was that card that I saw in his hand. Remember?
oh yeah, so this is the Gate Crash card that does not
defense.
see
Yeah,
a lot of play at all.
+3/+0, first strike for 1 mana.
Yep.
So kind of the red smite.
I mean, that's one way to look at Furious Resistance. I don't want to compare it to Smite, or even put it in the same conversation as Smite.
No? Okay.
But I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
So Fierce Resistance, you know, the thing that's kind of nice about that card is that it's a trick that people don't play around. So you can't kind of catch somebody off guard. It's certainly not a premier trick in this format, but it's something. And as you said, Scarron knew that his deck wasn't very good, so he was kind of reaching for playables. Had to play Fierce Resistance, but it wasn't terrible there, as Turtenwald on his turn played a Vassal Soul and passed back. Frank cracks his Cluestone, nothing happening, passes the turn back. Turtenwald quickly draws some cards. Looks like he's got a handful of lands right now.
Yeah, just 3 lands.
Goblin Rally trying to take it home. Token goes down, hits across for 5 damage, going to bring Scarron down to 6, and yeah, just 3 lands for Turtenwald. So it's this Vassal Soul and those goblins are bust, and Scarron looking at this pretty faint army saying, can I draw something that does something, please?
Yeah, game 3, Scarron and Turtenwald here.
Plays
another land. What does Scarron need here, Cedric? What do you think? Anything?
A card like Assembled Legion right now isn't even very good, which is kind of crazy to say. You know, I don't know if he has anything like a Guardian of the Guild pack in his deck to be able to block multiple things to be able to take over a game, but he needs just creatures to be able to block, and he doesn't have it right now. So Turtenwald draws this card. He sends in again after he draws what looks to be another land. Boros Kieran's going to take care of a Goblin, but Scarron's going to go down to 2 as Turtenwald is flooding very badly right now. And what can Scarron draw?
Turtenwald is weighing his options here. He got Scarron down to 2.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
with the Vassal, it's lethal next turn.
Yeah, I mean, you see Turtenwald kind of tanking a little bit here. It makes you wonder if this is just a pure bluff, because it kind of feels that way. I think he drew another land. He just has passed the turn back. So yeah, last turn we saw Owen play a land very quickly. This turn we don't see him. Now he's consulting with Huey. Okay, so it is a spell. He's reaching for mana, and it's a Volatile Rig.
Wow, okay.
Wow, okay, so we'll bring Volatile Rig up on the screen for you guys because, I mean, aptly named card. If things go, I guess you could say, in Turtenwald's favor or not in Scarron's favor.
Sure. With
Scarron being at 2, Volatile Rig, if the coin flips go the way that Owen wants them to go, then the game is just going to end.
Okay, so Scarron drew something here.
He draws a, man, that's a really good draw in Thrashing Mossdog if the Volatile Rig wasn't there. So now, I don't think there's anything that Scarron can do, right? Because Volatile Rig and the rest of the guys are going to have cross. Mossdog's going to get in front of the Vassal Soul, but this will make it really easy for Turtenwald, as he's going to show his last card. Turtenwald does win the game off of the back of the Volatile Rig and the Viashino, and so now we're going to come back to Demestrio and Jensen, because I told you it was going to be 5, and so it has to be 5.
Of course.
4-4. We cut in here. We see Splatter Thug. We see Zarichi Tiger. Splatter Thug. Pension's gonna untap. We'll get our life totals updated for you guys. It's time to battle. It's time to battle here.
Yeah. This comes all down to this right here.
16 to 20 is the life totals. Jensen's ahead on the damage range. Jensen's ahead on the board.
We'll see how it goes here. Joe Demestrio with the Zarichi Tiger. He's at 16 life. William Jensen's still at 20 life right here.
So you see Jensen's board right now of the Splatter Thug and the Feral Animalist.
Yep.
The creature that can pump its power multiple times given enough mana versus Demestrio's. Excuse me, Zarichi Tiger.
Let's see what William Jensen decides to do here. You know, do you think this Zarichi Tiger is going to be a problem?
No, I really don't. Like, I think that Huey's pressure right now is pretty good. I think what Huey's weighing his options right now are, all right, do I want to summon the Feral Animalist and offer up a trade? And that's exactly what he's going to do, and see if Demestrio is going to take the trade. Alternatively, you know, his thought is, you know, if he does block, am I cool with pumping? You know, am I cool with committing my mana this turn? So what he's going to do here, you see, is he's going to use the Blood Rush on the Swine, give his guy +5/+4 because he wants the Animalist in play. But what you see there, Gerard, is no 5th land from Jensen.
Okay. Yeah, so, which means Jensen has, you know, probably a stacked hand, which is fine.
He's got spells.
If you're just stalling lands, 4 is the number you want to stall on.
Yeah. So now you see Nezin and Scarron there in the background trying to help Demestrio figure out what his best lines of play are here. It's basically going to be a 3-headed giant on both sides of the table now.
Yes.
It's Demestrio. It's considered options, and this is something that, you know, when we had AJ in the booth, we talked about a little bit, but now it's the information game where, you know, how loud do you want to talk? How much information do you want to give away? Are they telling the truth or are they lying? As you see that the 3 of Nezin, Scarron, and Demestrio come to the decision of playing the Rakdos Drake, and it's not going to be unleashed. So
Yep.
now Huey draws a card. Kind of looks at that one twice.
Yeah, it's just a 1/2 flyer because he just wants to trade with Huey's guy.
Yeah.
You see Owen, you see Reed in the background, giving some head nods.
Yeah.
Match is crazy. You know, 4-4. All comes down to this.
4-4, both players stuck on 4 lands. Why would it be any other way? So now Huey's going to play. Oh,
Hands
wow.
of Binding.
Ugh.
All right, that's really good for him.
So Hands of Binding is going to take care. Oh man, that's a really good Hands of Binding. It's going to take care of the Rakdos Drake. In comes Huey with the Splatter Thug and with the Feral Animalist. Demestrio is at 8 life now.
Just approaching our 100th minute of this match.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy to think about it like that.
So Demestrio draws his 5th land, puts a Swamp into play. Access to 2 white and 3 black, so let's see what he can come up with this turn. The tough thing about, the thing with Hands of Binding previously is that in the previous format, there weren't a lot of good things to actually put it on. When you look at a card like Splatter Thug, though, you're looking at a 3/3 first striker. Your choice is, all right, if I let that through, he's going to tap my guy. If I don't let that through, then my guy's probably going to die in combat.
Sure.
Especially when your opponent has green and red mana in their deck. I mean, access to Blood Rush cards. It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
Okay, makes perfect sense. So Jensen now is playing his options. And he's going to come in with both of these guys. Demestrio just at 8 life. Ooh, there's an Eyes in the Skies. So he'll make 2 tokens right here. 2 1/1 flyers. I'm sure he'll be looking to trade with at least one of William's creatures. Oh, no, this is going to be before blocks. Maybe the Eyes in the Skies might not resolve yet. Maybe it's a Syncopate. So Demestrio went for an Eyes in the Skies.
Yeah.
He immediately tried to put 2 tokens into play. William just said, no, take them back.
He slowed him down real quick, didn't he?
Do you think William Jensen has a Syncopate?
I mean, I think he has the potential. I don't think he would think this through if he didn't have Syncopate, right?
Okay.
The question is, do I want to actually use Syncopate on this?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he wants to do. I think he wants to just keep pushing through
Yeah,
damage. So there's
there
your
it is.
Syncopate for 2. Counter that. Get myself in 3, 4, 5 more points of damage. Tap your guy again with Hands of Binding from the Cypher. Pass the turn back.
All right. Demestrio down to 3 life.
And the reason you see Huey ask himself that question is because what if he has Angelic Skirmisher right now?
There it is. Wow,
there it
land
is.
and the Skirmisher. All right. Does William Jensen have anything for this?
That I think is what he was talking about with Reed, knowing it's like Skirmisher is his best card in his deck, and it's his best card in the
Slow
situation.
peel.
Yeah, so
It looks like something good.
I think it was pretty good. I don't think you get that reaction if it was bad.
Yeah, exactly. Owen gave a little smile right there. Let's see. William saying, "Hey, should I go for it?" He's tapping some mana.
I mean, he's working with perfect information right now with Skirmisher versus, and Huey's going to play a Pursuit of Flight.
Wow.
Yeah, he's not wrong. That's a good draw.
Yeah, it really is.
And he doesn't even have to give it. He doesn't have to give it flying now either. Wow, that was a pretty good draw. I think what he's going to do is say go to combat.
Yep. Demestrio's going to say lifelink.
Yeah.
Jensen's going to say, okay, I'll only attack with my Splatter Thug.
If he
I'm
says,
gonna have a chump block.
Yeah, if he says first strike, Demestrio says, Jensen says, all right, attack with both my guys. Because first strike, if he announces first strike with the Skirmisher,
What did he announce? No, he said lifelink.
He announces lifelink.
Yeah.
I mean, lifelink doesn't accomplish anything.
Oh,
right
yeah, it
now.
doesn't. Well, I mean, he still has a chump block.
So he announces lifelink here with the Skirmisher, so he has to actually put the Skirmisher in front.
Oh, yeah, he loses.
So yeah, first strike.
Yeah, he needed a chump
Yeah,
block either way.
yeah, I don't think he saw it.
Okay.
So, there are your champions, William Jensen, Reed Duke, and Owen Turnwald, and they are going
Awesome.
crazy.
Yeah, awesome.